Shabbat Shalom, Kol Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone of Well. I am not a member, however, I have entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be.
All of America.
I have a series of, relatively a series. I have 3 TikToks I want to play. Okay, we'll get those. We'll get a couple scriptures, and that'll be the video. But basically, the virgin daughter of Babylon is this whore. First, this whore her skirt has been lifted, and 2, she will no longer be a virgin because all of the hell that this place has brought to these different countries in the name of freedom and democracy, or should I say, under the guise of freedom and democracy, the chickens have come home to roost. Everything that they've brought, I've been to these different zones. Well, they weren't war zones until the West came and did what they did and then left, installed who they wanted to install as a leader, all to fit their monetary interest. Because they cannot just let people live, right? You can't even have, because of course we understand Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and according to the book of Malachi, it says that Esau, Edom is the border of wickedness. So they hold the standard. They fly the banner for wickedness. And everywhere they go, they rape, they rob, they murder, right? And that is they do the bidding of the spiritual demon Satan. They are the physical counterparts. So they rape, rob, murder, they steal, kill, destroy. Everywhere they go, they disrupt. And you can't even have an homogenous society. Other nations were able to get along and kind of, do whatever they needed to do. But as soon as you insert the West, you have turmoil, you have strife, you have infighting, you have bickering. So let's let these play. Well, beforehand, I rambled a little bit too much. So let's start with the scripture. Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. And we understand this was written in the time of. Actually, hold on. Let me finish reading it because I'm getting my a couple of points mixed up. So let me just read it and let me just play the video, okay? So come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Right? So all the time, and in times past, this place has been, 92% of the existence of the daughter of Babylon, virgin daughter of Babylon, because we understand that is another code name for this place, for America. Or should I say, they have always brought the fight to these other nations. Nothing has ever come here, but we're going to see something new. All right, this is the third woe is going to introduce new character. Introduce new themes, and we're going to be broken out of the norm. And this place is going to be touched. First by ground troops, and then by, of course, we understand the missiles that will be fired. All right, so I've done one of these before. We're going to play this one too. So here we go.
All of Europe. You are next.
How many on the terror watch list got in? We don't know the answer to that question. That is very dangerous as a national security expert, which is what the FBI Director Wray talked about coming from Hamas.
The ongoing war in the Middle East has raised the threat of an attack against Americans in the United States here on our own soil.
Some pretty incredible developing news in the past 24 hours. Breaking news coming out that things are intensifying with the U.S. and Iran, with the war going on between Israel and Hamas in the Middle East. The U.S., they're saying, will be next for attacks, and we've already heard this warn from the FBI.
So they'll start at those bases. There are a couple bases in Syria. There's about 9 or 10 bases in Iraq. me go back a little bit. There's a base in Oman, that's near Yemen, I believe. There are multiple places where U.S. Citizens can be hit, not to mention those that live abroad, and then, of course, U.S. soil. You have all of these the different nationality of men coming through the border, all right, and coming through Tucson, coming through El Paso. They got them in San Antonio. They got them in Dallas. They got them in Houston. They got them in Tucson. They got them in areas in Chicago. They got them in New York. So basically, it's the borders have been broken. Anywhere you can enter in, on these bordering cities, that's where they're at. That's where these folks have started to pour in. No women and children, or should I say, a minimum number of women and children.
And now from hostage family members saying the U.S., you are next on the list. Take a look at the articles coming out in the past 24 hours. U.S. forces under fire in the Middle East as America slides towards the brink. This just coming out 3 hours ago. Now, the U.S. yesterday evening carries out airstrikes in eastern Syria targeting IRGC and Iranian-backed groups' weapons storage facilities. Now, the U.S. is striking Iran, and this is happening because U.S. Reaper drones shot down near Yemen by Iranian-backed Houthi militants, defense officials say, and we're hearing that the attacks against the U.S. are intensifying. That is right. The warnings by the U.S. to Iran not to attack us, well, Iran actually has stepped up their attacks. Take a look at this. Iran-backed groups threaten to expand the Gaza war as they step up attacks on Israel and the United States. And we're hearing that Iran has taken the threats by the Biden administration as empty. And with every threat for them to stop, they are increasing their attacks on us.
All right, so they said they have taken the threats of the Biden administration as empty. And not so long ago in times past, when Big Bad America said something, these other nations bowed down. So I want to get, is it Art Thou? Okay, Isaiah 14:10. Let's grab that real quick. Take it out of the night mode. I have it highlighted, but let me see. Where do I want to start? Let's start at 5, because I guess the theme here, according to the Spirit, is going to be the downfall of Babylon the Great, because the land of Israel and America are tied. They're going to share a judgment. Why? Because the same tribe rules. There are Edomites over there, and Edom rules over here. And just to add a little more understanding, all of our tax dollars go to them, and they bomb people that ain't got no business being bombed. Now, of course, we're not on either side. Those of us who understand, we're not on either side. We understand that the land is ours and it will be given back to us after these after these prophecies take place. Okay, the World War III, the missiles, Yahushua coming to take down the nations, and then the Lord will bring us back into the land of Israel. But until then, this devil is going to be slowly but surely dismantled. All right, so let's start at 5. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet, and that is what we will see when these devils have been put back in their place. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. And if you go into the NLT and read it, and if you go into your Blue Letter Bible, it talks about folks chopping down the trees and, going into the preservation of resources. Let's see, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirred up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth, and hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All right, so here we're going to get to our point. And all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worm covered thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And of course, I spoke before on how they installed puppet leaders, all right, and they trained some of these people, and then they spread propaganda and lies about a certain nation and say that they're doing something to their own people and we need to go in and save them. And then they install their puppet government. They install somebody who acts in the interest of the West, acts in the monetary interest of the West. And then they spread the destructive philosophy that we have going on here where, as Putin says, borderline a crime against humanity to say a boy can be a girl and a girl can be a boy, and they push this sodomite way of living. They do all that, and they destroy these nations from within, and they hoard the resources, and they take whatever it is that they need. Okay, henceforth, how they built the Panama Canal, and we'll get to that because I have 2 more TikToks to show that kind of resemble the same thing that's going on, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun.
Take a look. Just 4 days ago, I let you know that Iran says that the U.S. will be hit hard if there is no ceasefire in Gaza, and we saw the Iranian foreign minister on U.S. soil.
And I've done a video on that. I've done that. So, of course, Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, and the American forces, or the head brass of America, have already said that there is no ceasefire. So we understand that the least of the flock, which is these Edomite Israelis that are in the land, are going to draw everyone out. They have united. They have successfully united these infighting Arab nations. So that's what we got. Enough of that one. Let's move on to the next one.
Breaking news coming out of Russia and NATO. So Russia and NATO have both formally withdrawn from the Conventional Forces Europe Treaty today. And this treaty set a limit on conventional forces that could be deployed, and also a limit to the total number of certain types of heavy equipment that Russia and NATO could have. Okay,
before we go on, I believe we're in Revelation 17. Let's see, Gog and KJV. That's what I forgot to throw on there. Way off. Okay, so let's get to Revelation 20 before we start, because we understand Russia is going to be the catalyst to kick this thing off. All right. And originally, the land of Gog and Magog belonged to the Etruscans. It was Japhetic land. I'm sorry, not Etruscan. It was the Japhetic lands. But of course, as Esau has gone around and conquered, still killed, destroyed, and called themselves after the lands, they have it now. But the fact still remains that these other Edomites, another tribe of Edomites that are in the land of Russia, or what we refer to as Gog and Magog, they're going to be the ones to kick this thing off. They are a key component according to prophecy. And 8, that's right. All right, when 1,000 years are expired, this is verse 7. Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go and to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Gog and Magog to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Actually, I wanted to grab something else, but it's slipping my mind. If it comes to me, you know what? Let's put our thumb in the book of Revelation. We're gonna come back to that. There was another scripture that I actually wanted to get that would slip my mind. Let's let this play. Abarat Zada to come back to me. But you see, the nations they are beginning to draw back from all of these treaties that were meant to avoid this here. It was, and all of these treaties were meant to avoid mutual assured destruction. Okay, so MAD is a doctrine, or mutual assured destruction is a doctrine of military strategy and national security policy, which posits that a full-scale use of nuclear damn you bastard. I don't know why I didn't click it in the first place. Will cause complete, by an attacker of a nuclear armed defender with second strike capabilities would cause complete annihilation of both the attacker and the defender. It is based on the theory of rational deterrence, which holds that the threat of using strong weapons against the enemy prevents the enemy from using those same weapons. The strategy is a form of Nash equilibrium in which, once armed, neither side has incentive to initiate a conflict or to disarm. So all of these treaties brought about, and I believe it was President Truman. Let me see. Firing MacArthur. No. It doesn't matter. But we got the point that that's what mutually assured destruction doctrine is. And all of these different treaties about limiting how many nuclear weapons can be produced, limiting not only the quantity, but how many can be in one area or one space near a nation at one time. All kinds of different stipulations go into making sure that the MAD doctrine is in place. So they understand if one nation fires, the other nation fires back, and you have a mutually assured destruction. But that is slowly becoming to go out of the window. So you can see prophecy is starting, the wheels of prophecy are starting to turn. Well, they've been turning, but it's going to speed up.
So Russia was the first one to pull out of this treaty. They did so earlier this morning, and then NATO responded by doing the same thing. And we do know that over the last few weeks, Russia has been moving a lot of military transport planes into Kaliningrad, and Kaliningrad is a small piece of Russia that's stuck between Lithuania and Poland. And just like 3 days ago, there were 5 of these Russian transport planes, military transport planes, going to Kaliningrad in a single day. We had another one just today, go to Kaliningrad. So Russia's definitely moving equipment into Kaliningrad. They also reorganized their Western Military District earlier this year, and they split it up into smaller districts, which many analysts think is a move to prepare for some kind of conflict in Eastern Europe and the Baltics and possibly Finland. So this is very, very concerning, guys. And this comes just a week after Putin signed a bill to pull out of the nuclear test ban treaty, which would allow Russia to do atmospheric and underwater nuclear weapons tests. And Putin also pulled out of the New START treaty earlier this year, which was created by Obama in 2008. And the New START treaty limited the number of warheads that the U.S. and Russia could have deployed to 1,500, and it also limited the number of missiles and bombers. And so Putin pulled out of that earlier this year. And then also in 2019, Trump pulled out of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, which Putin responded by doing the same thing shortly after. So, guys, we're basically going back in time. We're going back to the height of the Cold War now. Okay, the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty is gone. The New START Treaty is gone. The Nuclear Test Ban Treaty is gone. The Conventional Forces Europe Treaty is gone. All right, so basically all of the major arms control treaties between Russia and NATO have evaporated. Breaking news coming out of Russia.
All right, so that's that one. We got one more. But let's see, let's get Habakkuk 2 and 3. I should remember that. Let's get Habakkuk 2. Verse 3, straight to the point. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And that is speaking of these prophecies that are slowly moving, but at the very same time, things are picking up very quickly. And if you're in the spirit, you understand what I'm saying. Chaos within this country. So war within, war without. Now we're moving into 2nd Ezra 16, where it talks about men invading one another's houses, because we understand, we don't forget, there is still a food shortage manufactured. All right, you have the folks at the borders. These devils are talking about increasing unemployment by 50%. Increasing unemployment by 50%. And basically what they're saying is folks started to believe that they were important. The employee or the worker bee believes they are important, and that the owners of these companies and these corporations need them. So what they want to do is cut unemployment by 50% in order to say, basically, know your place, slave. And somehow, some way, they're going to write something into law, do some unrighteous decree. You know what? Damn. We need that. Woe, Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. All right, so of course that they will put these things into law. All the evil that they do legally. They write ambiguous laws and then leave it up for interpretation. So look for some sort of way for people to lose their jobs being written by some sort of statute, some sort of congressional hearing that they're going to have about why people shouldn't have their jobs because they boycotted. You can even tie it into boycotting Israel, because there's about 30 states. You know what? I know I seen that on somewhere. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Okay, Missouri and Kansas. There's about 30 of them so far. No, that's too far. That's 2019. Missouri uses power. You know what? Because we going to get this. We going to get this. Oop, boy, coot. And bear with me, but we gonna get this. Here we go.
In 37 U.S. states for a government entity to work with a company or organization, a contractor that supports the boycott of Israel or that openly boycotts Israel. This 100% infringes on our right to free speech, and it is used as a punishment for those who are against the state of Israel.
So my question is,
and half
where in the scriptures, if those are the real people in the land right now, what scripture supports them being able to do such a thing? Because according to prophecy, the actual Israelites would be downtrodden. We would be the tail, and our enemy would be the head. We would be the borrower, they would be the lender. You know what? Hold on.
and half the states
Let's put our finger in that. I know it's Deuteronomy 28. I just need to make sure. It may be around like the 40th verse. Let's see. $44. Okay. 44. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 44. And it's in reading through the entire chapter, it says, "This is your reward for obedience. This is your punishment for disobedience." Of course, you can read through the story and the narrative of the Bible, and you see that we disobeyed, and the curses are like a big red flag that is planted on the top of our head, and it points to who the actual people of the Lord are. Deuteronomy 28 and 44. So we'll get straight to the point, because I know I'm kind of pressed for time now. I've been pushing it, but I also don't want to quench the spirit. So this will probably be a spiritual rant, so to speak. All right, so we'll start at 43. "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail." And that is where we are. Okay, you have different scriptures that will tell you, "I will lead thee into Egypt again with ships," which if it was talking about the actual time where we were in Egypt, you don't need a ship. All right, this is a spiritual book that you have to be given, and it is locked unless the Lord gives you the spirit to understand it. It is the key to being able to understand these scriptures. And of course, you learn by way of having the 100% truth passed down from the men of GMS and their elders, all right, and everyone on down, and those who preach the like doctrine. You learn that, you study, and you study to show thyself approved, roughly paraphrase, and you will see the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, not the Israelites that are in that land. Why? Because according to prophecy, a bastard will dwell in Ashdod. And just to kind of get a little in that, you can look that up, but let's see. We'll get. Oh gosh, I can't type. See what the significance. So Palestine in 1948, but you can see that is right there in the land of Israel. And most importantly, right by the water. So there are ports, there's commerce that comes through. All right, so it says a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and they are currently there. Let's see what it's known for. Artificial port enclosed by breakwaters in southern Israel. Only outlet is to the Mediterranean Sea. Much of the country's citrus crop is exported through Ashdod. So that's its importance now. But you see that that's strategically placed. All right, so let's move on.
In the U.S. have a loyalty oath to the Israeli government.
That is correct. I found a list of the states and I'm going to read them to you. Starting off, we have Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Cali, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin.
34 states. Now, if those were the people, where's the throne of David? Where is King David? It also says you would beat your swords into plowshares. People will come to learn, and also, the Lord said He will write His laws on our inward parts. If those are the people, and they will move back into the land, right? Oh, gosh. Jeremiah 30, 31 and 33. So let's go to Jeremiah. If those are the people, right? All of this has to happen. The throne of David has to be established. All right, according to Amos 9 and 11. And I'm bouncing around, so prayerfully you're bearing with me. Straight to the point. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from least to greatest, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So if the laws are written on our inward parts, that means Tel Aviv would not be Pink City. It would not be the capital of the Sodomite parade. Wickedness would be stomped out, according to the scriptures. So obviously those aren't the people. And the people of the Lord, according to this timeline, according to a proper timeline in prophecy, would not be able to ban a boycott in 34 states in another country. All right, let's move on to the last TikTok, and that'll be it. That'll be the video.
We've all been getting played. My mind is blown.
And before I do it, remember I mentioned the Panama Canal, and I mentioned everything is about monetary gain. People cannot live in a homogenous society. They cannot share when this Edomite is around. He has to control everything. He has to have everything. He has to be up above everyone. So I'm going to let this play, and then that'll be the video. So I pray that you were edified. So I'll let this roll, and then, shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Watched something that answers every question about why America, the UK, and France are so staunchly in support of Israel and what it's doing right now. And of course, it has to do with money, obviously. But not what we would have thought of. I think we all would have assumed it was oil. So who's not collecting on this are the Americans, the British, and Egypt nationalized the canal, so it makes all the profit. Egypt nationalized the canal, so it makes all the profit. So who's not collecting on this are the Americans, the British, and the French, and the Israelis. They want to change that. Enter the Ben Gurion Canal Project over here. This is what's happening right now in the Middle East. What we're seeing on TV is all a ploy. It's all about granting access for this canal. The American and Israeli government plan on nuking this land over here to build a canal. They're going to use this land because that land is built out of a rocky terrain, whereas the Suez Canal is built on more of a sandy terrain. By digging through a rockier ground, they would have more likelihood to have a wider canal, allowing two ships to pass each other at the same time, as opposed to one ship, which is presently happening in the Suez Canal. And where do you think that canal empties? Not just in the Mediterranean Sea. The Ben Gurion Canal would empty right in northern Gaza.
Which I found interesting, which is why I brought up the port when the scripture says a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, right? Having control of that port grants you an immense amount of commerce and goods that flow through. So I would encourage you, as you can see, they want to build a man-made canal, right, through Israel, ending in Gaza, where those people live, where the Palestinians live. At the end, well, it ain't gonna be for long. Look into the Panama Canal, and it is just a very interesting comparison, because that was also something that was forged or man-made, and they brutalized the tribe of Zebulun to build, and they built that canal, and that canal is extremely important to Babylon the Great, all the way up until now, from 1902, I think, when it was built, all the way up until now. So look at and compare how the Panama Canal, and compare that to this TikTok you just saw, how they want to forge another one. You see, an Edomite is an Edomite, no matter where no matter where they are. Okay, they are Edom. They are just a different tribe. That is Amalek. The so-called JEW is Amalek. So, with that being said, as you can see, you've got some homework to do if you so choose, But check out the building of the Panama Canal. Check out these TikToks. Go through your scriptures. Go through prophetic scriptures if you haven't already. Repent. Pray that the Lord is going to cover you in the times to come. Because not only are things going to get worse over there in the land, but things are going to get very bad here. As I said in the beginning of the video, just as war has been brought to these other countries, these other nations, the chickens are coming home to roost, and America is going to feel every bit of what they have done to these other countries. And the Lord is going to allow it, because Babylon the Great is going to have to sit in the dust. You got to start somewhere. So this virgin daughter will no longer be a virgin, not only via missiles, but via insider threat. So with that being said, I pray that you are edified. Shalom.